In Washington, D.C., there was an RKO General owned station, WGMS. And RKO General was, of course, a former owner of CKLW
For
and
sure.
owned a
Yeah.
lot of other famous stations like KFRC, San Francisco, KHJ, Los Angeles. But I got a call from Paul Drew. And I, of course, had heard his name as a pretty famous programmer already because he'd been at
Hmm.
CKLW, possibly, I'm not sure the timeline, but possibly already at KHJ with Bill Drake format.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to change the format of WGMS from classical to top 40 to hit music, and I'd like for you to come over. And had lunch with him, and I
Hmm.
know he had hired another jock from DC that I thought was really great from the R&B, the rhythm and blues station, WOL, the Mighty Burner. I think his name, it could have been Bobby Bennett, but it's been a long time. So I thought, wow, if he thinks Bobby and I are going to be the anchors of this station, this will be great. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm excited. Haven't resigned or anything because we haven't formalized the deal, but I got a
And you
call from
learned that
Paul.
lesson. And you
Well,
learned that lesson.
well, yes, I did, compared to the other situation in North Carolina, which actually worked out well, right? But got a call from Paul. He said the Federal Communications Commission is going to continue to to protect the classical music stations in major markets. They're not going to allow RKO General to change the format of WGMS. So I'm really bummed out. I'm really sorry. He may have said, I hope you haven't resigned yet. And I said, no, I haven't. And so we had to call that off. And he said, well, maybe another time, another day. Out of the blue, I get a phone call from Alden Deal. In fact, because Paul had my home number, he shared that with Alden, who was the program director of CKLW, as you know, at that time, because you were already there. He called my home number, and my wife called me on the hotline at Weem and said, you have a call, and the guy wants you to return his call today. His name is something like Alden. I said, Alden Deal? And she said, yeah. I said, he's the program director of CKLW in Detroit. And she said, well, that's who it is. So you need to call him today. So that's kind of how that happened. Well, yeah. And the timing couldn't have been better because when you've been at Weem 3 years, this is in Tommy Edwards' book, by the way. Tommy Edwards, who we mentioned earlier, has a book out, and he talks about how that general manager at Weem had this habit of firing the entire staff all at once, fired everybody, and before the show that was currently on the air ended, he would call the guy who followed. Let's say he did it in the middle of the day. He would call the afternoon jock and say, I'm hiring you back. So get in here and do your show. So he would always hire us back. But 3 years of going through that multiple times, I was really ready to go to CKLW or
Wow.
somewhere else.
What a
Yeah.
crazy GM. Holy moly.